Good afternoon, Fabian Onetti for Winston Capital, and we're going to be covering the week of October 14, 13. Kind of short week, remember, Monday was half a day. There were stocks, but not bonds. And the market didn't do much. Actually, the Dow was, down 46 points for the week, and the S&P was up half a percentage point. Mainly on the Dow, we have the bad news of Boeing and IBM. We're going to go over that in a second. Also, Johnson & Johnson. So that took it down. But then, there was relatively quiet week, although we did have some good news. We're going to go into that, but somehow the market didn't fully capitalize on them. Right now, as we stand, the Fed Fund futures think that on October 30th, which is next week, end of next week, we're going to have another quarter point cut by the Federal Reserve in the U.S. Earnings this week that happened, we had the banks. The banks really shine, with the exception of probably Goldman Sachs, the last of the wholesale banks that did not manage to deliver good earnings. But then the big money center banks, Citi, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Bank of America, and even Morgan Stanley, they all deliver very good earnings, mainly on the consumer side. All of them kind of quoted as very strong consumer, healthy consumption, very low non-performance loans, and many of them says, listen, we don't see a recession in 2020 as per the health of the consumer. So that was actually a very good news on that side. Who disappointed last week? Well, Johnson & Johnson was more related to issues and lawsuits that they have of different products. Boeing did not report it, but more problems with 737 MAX came about and regulatory issues. IBM did report it and disappointed on sales. Stock is at 130, it was at 180 at some point. So, that was not really a lot of big names. This coming week and the next week is going to be the bulk of the reporting, and we're going to get to talk about that in a second. One of our favorites, Netflix, reported, did not disappoint, especially since they managed to add 500,000 US subscribers and about 6.3 million international subscribers. So the story for us is in place. This is an issue about growing international subscribers. Remember, Netflix has 160 million paying subscribers. No other cable service or streaming service in the world is even close to that number, and the company keeps on growing, and especially, on the international base. We like it. There was all kinds of reports. The stock rallied 10% after market, then only rallied 2% the next day, and on Friday went down 6%. We still like it. We think it's a good opportunity to buy here if you like it, or sell some puts to take advantage of the volatility. The euro broke up resistance together with the pound. There were some comments by some economists that the US dollar is too strong. It's true, it's been super strong all through the year, mainly on rate differentials, growth differentials, but it's been hitting, as much G7 currencies as much as the emerging market currencies. And now some people say, well, listen, it's affecting a little bit of the performance of the US companies because of an expensive dollar. However, on the other hand, for a lot of foreign investors that came to the US because of negative rates and more attractive growth rates in the US in companies, they've been obviously done very well, because not only the stock went up, but it went up in local currencies even more, the indices I meant. But finally, it looks like the euro is breaking up a little bit. Remember, we've been talking here about better news on the industrial production front, Germany, Italy, France. More than anything, less bad news. So that's, we think, is positive and constructive on that side. So, we'll keep following on that. And also we had a nice Brexit break, which the markets did believe. Finally, the British pound broke over the 200-day moving average at 127, it's 128. And over the weekend, the Parliament voted Boris Johnson not to proceed with the deal, asked for more time to discuss the new deal that it was announced. So as we speak, Sunday morning, we still don't know. We'll see what happens this coming week. But they look like they're very close to a deal. We had disappointing retail sales during the week. One of the other numbers that is very closely looked, and that kind of fed into this Fed issue of cutting rates. The market was expecting 0.3%, and it was negative 0.3, so it's a spread of 0.6, and it was across the board. It was not a particular issue that hit retail sales. Although they revised August from 0.3 to 0.6, it was not a great number. And that's why probably the market is a little bit mixed, because on one side we have the banks reporting very well and solid, but on the other hand, things like the retail sales gave pause to some investors. So we'll see what happens there. Remember, in emerging markets, next Sunday, a Sunday from today, we will have elections in Argentina. And this was a story that was coming great, lower inflation, better growth. And then all of a sudden, these primary pass elections in August derailed everything, big crisis. I don't want to vote on anything, because clearly, as we have this huge, nasty surprise in August with the polls had it all wrong, I don't know what the polls have now. So I've seen a lot of momentum on both sides, on the Macri side, on the Fernandez side. And I think this could be a photo finish. This could be a very, very close race that we can even might need to go to a second round. I have no idea. We'll discuss it during the week. Maybe there is some strategies that we can discuss about playing it. But just that's it. Next Sunday will be the story. We'll look into that. The other thing that kind of probably calmed the markets a little bit out, we have the Chinese GDP. It came at 6%. The market was expecting 6.1. No big difference. But clearly it's marking this deceleration of the Chinese model. Very difficult what to make of the numbers. But remember, no one can grow at 10% forever and ever and ever. At some point, all countries hit a limit of growth via either demographics of wealth accumulation or whatever, and you cannot grow forever. We've seen it in Japan, we've seen it in Germany, we've been seeing it in the Americas. For decades and decades you grow, but at some point you hit a ceiling. Is this the moment for China? I don't really know, and I think no one really knows. But that was a number that the market did not particularly like. Let's see what's coming this week. These next 2 weeks is going to be the heavy on earnings, and this, I think, will dictate what the market will do from here until probably the end of the year. So it's going to be very important. What do we get from different sectors? So Monday, not a lot. Tuesday, we have McDonald's, Texas Instruments, and UPS. Good for retailers, semiconductors, and transportation. Wednesday, we have Boeing, Caterpillar, Key on infrastructure, eBay, Lilly on pharma, Ford, Microsoft, PayPal, and Tesla. So a little bit of everything for everybody. So we'll have a lot of news. Thursday, we have 3M, Amazon, American Airlines, Intel, Twitter, and Visa. Friday, we don't have a lot. So a lot of earnings, a lot of sectors, and I think we're going to get more and more guidance where this economy is going. Again, thank you very much. Remember, you can always get us in our page, winston.capital, and for our subscribers, every morning at 8:45, transmitting live from New York. Have a great week.